Welcome to WVTV, New Zealand's most passionate wine programme, and today I'm just going to talk about where these wines come from, which is Central Otago, and which has been a wine growing region for a lot longer than most people think. Most people think that kind of it's only in the last kind of like 10 years that Central Otago has really taken off as a wine growing region, which in a way they're right, but I mean it lies kind of 45 degrees latitude south, and it's got a kind of schisty, it's quite a variable kind of soil structure, but there's a lot of schist and kind of silty loam, given the landscape. It's on the South Island, situated kind of like 2/3 of the way down, for those of you that don't know your geography. And but Central Otago itself was actually discovered in the 1860s. Along with the gold rush came Jean-Paul Thoreau, and he started planting grapes down there on a commercial scale. And then shortly after that, kind of like obviously things evolved, and then it was pretty much rediscovered in the 1950s, and then by 1996 there were just 11 wineries in Central Otago itself, and Ripon was one of those, and I can't remember, I think Olsen's were in there as well. And then there was this massive kind of rapid expansion from 1996 to 2004. In 1996 there were only kind of 92 hectares planted. Come 2004 there's 1,100 hectares planted, and 70% of those are with Pinot Noir, and so it became a major player in New Zealand Pinot Noir. And you had this kind of little area, Martinborough, which have been making kind of very, very respectable, and in my kind of humble opinion, kind of still make the best Pinot Noir as a region. Then Central Otago took their wines across to Europe, especially to London, and they got their wines in front of as many kind of judges as possible as a collective, which was one of the best marketing strategies that I've known in the wine industry. And they got them in front of the wine critics, and it was such a different style that people loved it. And generally kind of Central, up until kind of like the 70s, kind of like Central Otago had really been about kind of fruit farming and sheep farming, and then obviously kind of there became a lot of value in grape plantings and making wine. Some people do it exceptionally well down there and have built a kind of cult status, and you've got a few players that are struggling down there right now, and in this economy I can see a bit of a contraction and a bit of kind of wineries, but other wineries growing as they consume the small little guys around. But this guy is Judge Rock, and they're the Chironi Jacobson family, and they're just on the outskirts of Alexandra. And Alexandra is kind of, if you drive through from Queenstown through Cromwell and out towards Clyde, and then just at the back of Clyde is Alexandra, and that's where you'll find these guys. And also Sam Neill has 2 paddocks there, and there was Shaky Bridge and William Thomas, to name an Alex Gold, and the other one escapes my mind. And so there's quite a few guys just outside in and around Alexandra. And the 06, which we're going to taste first, was a 5-star decanter wine. There's quite a light colour for Central Otago Pinot Noir. They're usually, especially if they're kind of from Bannockburn or from Alex, they tend to be quite masculine, quite fruity, quite dark, extracted. But this is a pretty good example of a fairly light kind of colour, not showing kind of any real signs of aging. And 06, and they should last a lot longer than kind of what we're giving them credit for, but 06 you'd expect to see, with a lot of wines, a little bit of kind of brick colour going around the outside. I get a very feminine nose, a kind of a violet, almost a bit of cinnamon on the nose. You do get that characteristic kind of Central Otago cherry character going on, and but it's very aromatic and floral. Almost had a marzipan apricot kind of character at the front there. Quite bright red fruit, but something there that I just can't put my finger on. It's nice, it's quite textural. I really like that the colour's quite light, but then it's quite deceiving. It's a bit more kind of fuller on the mouth than one would expect. A slight hint of oak right at the back, but still everything's in balance. And it's probably a bit too cold right now. And a good bit of dryness as well. The next one is the 07 Judge Rock Pinot Noir, and this got Elite Gold at the Air New Zealand show in last year, 2008. Yet again, I've just seen that the colour is obviously a style of theirs. It's fairly light. If I swirl it around, you can actually see got a bit of hazelnut, a bit of cherry, almost a bit of strawberry in there as well. You get a really good minerality component to this. You get almost like sucking a piece of slate. You get that upfront fruit, then you get this kind of like drying kind of slate, as if you put it in your mouth, picked it up off the kind of hillside and just put it in your mouth, and that's exactly what you get. And if that wine, that would be a slaked wine for me. And the next wine is the 08 vintage, and the colour, it's a bit more plummy in colour. Very young, very tight, more plum cherry, a lot more about the fruit than these two. Almost that kind of, there's an element of plastic in there at the moment. They'll probably settle down with a bit of age. Good, rich, ripe, kind of sweet fruit in there. Falls a bit short. It's got some good textural qualities, but it actually falls a bit short on the palate compared to the other two. Now this wine may develop into a much better wine, but currently I'm giving the 07, this is the way that I would do it. The 07 I would give kind of like 89 points. I really like that kind of style, I like that kind of minerality that really shines through. And it's kind of reminiscent of the area, which is quite a rugged, diverse kind of region. Then the 06, it's just showing just a bit better than this. Is 08, and it's probably, I don't know how long ago it's been bottled, maybe kind of like 4 months, but it's still in its youth. It's still an adolescent, just kind of wanting to be a bit more mature than it actually is right now, and just falls a bit short, which hopefully that will develop. So yeah, 89 on that. The 06 I'm going to give 86, and 84 to the, slightly ironic, there's 2 points between each one. 84 to the 08, but taste that again in a year or so, and that may be or probably will be a completely different wine. It opened up a bit more kind of floral or aromatic on the nose, and a bit longer in length. But yeah, I really like doing kind of well, obviously Pinot is my passion, and so hopefully, like with you and I, kind of tasting our way through New Zealand wine, and hopefully we'll continue to do that. I'll see you on the next episode.